And something I know for certain is if there's a desire that's been on your heart for years on end and you keep suppressing it through excuses, that desire is still there. Just so you know, it's gonna be there when you're 30, it's gonna be there when you're 40, it's gonna be there when you're 50. How did I know it was time for me to leave the US, and how am I preparing to start all over? Let's get into it. I've been wanting to move abroad out of the country for years. It's just something that's been within my heart, being a travel lover, being somebody who likes to experience new cultures, being someone who historically hasn't always felt quite at home here in Southern California. I've always wanted to find a place that kind of vibrates with me on a better frequency. I had always been wanting to travel abroad, so there was no world in which I was just gonna move abroad. When I then progressed to my current position where I'm 100% remote, a year into the job, is when I bought my condo. And the condo purchase was a lot more expensive than I really could afford, but I fell in love with the place and I wanted to prove to myself that I could purchase property in California by myself. And so I proved that to myself. I did that. I took on that major leap, and I ultimately bit off more than I could chew. So first and foremost was the financial clarity piece. I reached out to property managers, like maybe I could rent this thing out and get a little bit of this burden financially off of me so I could start saving again. I tried for a year to wait for rates to go down. I got a roommate who was helping me, but it wasn't even close to enough for me to be able to get back financially afloat. I was putting a lot of repairs on my credit card. I was not able to save, but then I'm getting a letter in the mail that the HOA is going up and getting, so homeownership in itself, just, I think I did it a little too prematurely. It was kind of this aha moment a week before my financial peace class was done. I was working a weekend job, working 7 days a week just to have a little fun money, but I had no time to have fun. So I took the financial peace course, which the way that came about was definitely God. That class led me to the realization, I need to sell this place. You should not be spending more than 30% of your income on the house over your head. And I think I was spending 60. It just doesn't make any sense. And what also clicked for me is that God does not want his children struggling financially. The Bible actually lays out the correct way to become a prosperous individual. There is a smart way to buy a home. There is a smart way to get out of debt. I just was doing everything funky and backwards. That was the wake-up call that I need to kind of level set and start fresh. In these last few months, I'm like, okay, I'm not a homeowner. I'm renting a room right now. And I know I want to travel and I don't want to live abroad, but I don't know where. So I did a lot of research on TikTok, YouTube, asking people what their favorite cities are. And everyone kept saying Mexico City, Mexico City. So when the dust settled from closing escrow, it was really emotional. I missed my space. I still miss my space. It was like, this is the perfect time to go travel. It's just me and my dog. I'm 100% remote. Let's go. I will say though, that I historically like to travel and move abroad in the sense of escaping something that I don't want to face. And I'm so grateful to share with you that now doing this at 33 years old, I'm not doing this to run away. Do I like what's going on in the American government right now? Hell no. Y'all know 92% stand up, but I'm not running away from anything. I don't like when people say that to me. I've had people say, well, we shouldn't run away. I'm choosing what I've always wanted to do. I'm following my intuition. And I think if a lot of people did that, they wouldn't be still in their same circumstances. So this is not running away from anything. This is choosing to follow the path that I've always wanted, and it's always been within me. And something I know for certain is if there's a desire that's been on your heart for years on end, and you keep suppressing it through excuses and through fear, that desire is still there. Just so you know, it's gonna be there when you're 30, it's gonna be there when you're 40, it's gonna be there when you're 50. So work on how to make that happen now, because that desire is on your heart for a reason. So yeah, that's how I came to the conclusion that it was time to sell and that it's now time to start traveling a little bit more. How am I preparing to leave the country? First and foremost was getting rid of a lot of clutter. When you own a home or have any big space for a long time, you gather so much nonsense that you don't need. I sold so much stuff on OfferUp. I sold a lot of stuff on Facebook Marketplace. I have a storage unit that has probably 50% of stuff I don't even need. So just making sure I have a place for all my special things. And I'm also making space in this last week or so to do all the things that I love here in California. California is always going to be here for me. It's always going to be my home. But just while I'm here and have this ease of access, I'm going to Santa Monica Beach. I'm going to my favorite coffee shops. I'm taking Buzz to our favorite parks and his favorite daycare. So I'm doing all those things to like kind of emotionally reckon with myself of like, you might not have access to these soon. Like, don't take it for granted that you are like walking distance from this park or walking distance from your favorite latte, you know? And then I'll have a new favorite park and I'll have a new favorite latte in my new place, because that's how I am. I fall into like, I really love this thing, and then that becomes like the thing I always do. So I'll have new things to cling on to soon enough, so I'm not worried. I'm just experiencing the things that I have close by. And I'm also preparing by learning the language. I've been taking Spanish classes for the last few weeks, just once a week, and I have a little homework. I took Spanish in high school. That by no means makes me feel confident to go to Mexico and just start talking to everybody, but can I get around a little bit? Yes, but I want it to be better, and I'm actually feeling inspired to maybe continue those classes even when I'm there, because although I'll be immersed in the country, I'll be still working in English and talking to my friends in English. So I'm thinking about how can I increase that language ability as much as possible, because I love Spanish. Like, I've always wished I was fluent. I always used to say, like, what if my very best friend in the world is out there, but she speaks a different language than me? You know, like, I need to cross that bridge. So that's another thing I'm doing to get ready. As it stands right now, I have a one-way flight booked to Mexico, and I have a couple weeks of my Airbnb booked. I want the ability to change and shift my plans as things unfold, but I also love that when I get there on the ground, I do have a place to rest my head. But that's kind of the era I'm in, is like trusting my intuition, listening to my gut, being brave, and not needing everyone to validate every decision I make. Just going for it and seeing how the cards fall. That's where I'm at right now, and I feel really peaceful about it. So if you're someone who feels the nudge to go somewhere, just know it's valid. Just know that if other people around you aren't doing it, that doesn't matter. If it's in here, it's because a future version of you is doing that thing, okay? So if you're feeling that type of way, I want to hear about it in the comments. Let me know if there's something on your heart that is calling to you. It doesn't have to be travel. It could be anything that you're like, I really, really have been wanting to do this thing. Let's explore that. So that's all I have today, my brave travel lovers. I want to hear from you in the comments of where you're thinking about going next. And also follow and subscribe, because I'm going to be sharing my journey for the next few weeks.